Good morning, everybody. This webinar is called Calming Strategies in the COVID-19 Storm. This is being presented by the Division of Developmental and Behavioral Pediatrics, DDBP, at Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center. I am Marion Cosgrove-Rauch of the UCED. I am a family support specialist. I am also joined today by Elizabeth Trenkamp of DDBP. She is a family navigator. We will be presenting this with subtitles in Spanish for anyone who may want them at this time. I should let you all know that this webinar is being recorded. And also a little housekeeping. We would like for everyone to hold their questions until the end of the presentation. Is everybody good for that? Shall we get started? All right. So the information to be covered this morning will include why calmness is important, calming strategies, illness strategies, resiliency, and then the question and answer period. The benefits of being calm are many. Just like COVID-19, calmness is infectious. Planning and the knowledge it takes to plan appropriately is key to feeling calm. Being calm helps keep you healthy. And these healthy habits will help you throughout your life, way beyond this crazy time we're living through now. You become the master of calm, or if you prefer, the chaos coordinator. So some calming strategies include, and I'm sure you've all heard this, set up a routine. But don't pick someone else's routine. Use a routine that works for you and for your family. You want to be flexible with that routine. Some days it might be better to go out and take a walk rather than do schoolwork. You should allow yourself breaks when they are needed. Remember, now time is really on your side. You've got time, take the time. Being proactive is a very important thing. You can then get your plan and deal with those what-if situations. Self-care is essential, everyone. It is not a guilty pleasure. And while it may be hard to remember that during this difficult time, it's really, really important for us all. Some other calming strategies include finding ways to differentiate one day from another. Keep some special activities or treats for weekends. Alternate activities from one day to the next so you don't get that Groundhog's Day feeling. Plan solitary activities as well as group activities. Too much togetherness can be a problem at times. Tempers can run high, people can get frustrated with one another. So make sure everybody has a little time just to themselves. Ask others for help if needed. And don't be afraid to bring this up with family, friends, and even neighbors. Create an action plan in case of illness. Now is the time to do that. You don't want to be caught unaware. Pace yourself with treats and fun ideas. And again, it doesn't have to be what you see on the internet. Whatever appeals to you and or your family is best. And keep it simple. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Limit exposure to negative news and social media. Well, this is probably a good idea all of the time. Right now, too much time on the TV or the computer screen can lead you to feeling really down and depressed. Don't do that to yourself. So, illness strategies. Now is the time to make a plan for care. Consider, who takes care of whom if the children are sick? Is there a way or a place to isolate them from others? Who takes care of whom if one adult is sick? Who takes care of whom if both adults or everyone in the house is sick? These are important things to consider ahead of time. So if someone does get sick, know that young children might well benefit from a social story about the procedure to test for COVID-19. Here is a link for that. It's not the most pleasant thing. It's not the end of the world. So it's something that people need to do. And to be relaxed about it makes it easier and less painful. So let's say you are sick, and maybe it's COVID-19, or maybe you've just got a springtime cold. Make sure when you are ordering your supplies from the grocery or the drugstore that you have a supply of medications and comfort measures available. You also want to know where all your important documents are stored. Now, I know in my household, I'm the keeper of the important papers. So my husband might not know where to look if I don't tell him ahead of time. Something else that many people don't think of but is vitally important is make sure that someone besides you knows all the passwords that are necessary for accounts on your computer. If you don't have a place to lock them away that anyone can access, make sure you do now. It's not fun if you have a difficult situation and you cannot even get on your computer to pay your credit card bill because you don't know the password. Resiliency, when you bend with the wind but don't break in the storm. This COVID-19 situation indeed is a storm. So now is the time to practice your resiliency by going or giving yourself and others grace in troubled times. Here are some steps to become more resilient. The first is to accept change. The second, become a continuous learner. Third, take charge. Fourth, find your sense of purpose. Fifth, pay attention to self-identity. Sixth, cultivate relationships. Seventh, reflect. And 8, skill shift. Maybe there's some skill you haven't used in a long time that you could use again. Or maybe this is the time to learn something new. Final thoughts. You cannot help anyone if you become sick yourself. So take care of yourself as well by letting go of that which is unimportant, finding some time or a pleasure for yourself each day and every day, reminding yourself that this trial will pass, practicing gratitude for even the smallest of things, and giving yourself grace even when feeling angry, frustrated, or depressed. That concludes the presentation. We will now have a question and answer period. If everyone could just put any questions they have, type them into the chat box, and then we will answer them in order that they appear. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Trenkamp. I'm a family navigator at Cincinnati Children's in the Division of Developmental and Behavioral Pediatrics. Thank you, Marion, for that presentation. For our question and answer portion, we'll take 10 or 15 minutes answering some questions. If you'll please type in the chat box or type, "I have a question," and then we will call on you to ask your question. Don't forget to unmute your mic. We will also ask if you would please complete the session survey. The link will be loaded in the chat box. Also, this Zoom session it's been recorded and will be uploaded to Facebook, the Kelly O'Leary page, and the Cincinnati Children's website. We also want to make you aware of future outreach events, which can be found on the DDBP outreach calendar at www.cincinnatichildrens.org/DDBP. The event calendar is at the bottom. Families can also email questions at any time to the DDBP Family Support at cchmc.org. There we will provide questions, put your questions in. We may provide family support and resources. At this time, there's not been any questions loaded.
I was wondering if anyone would like to see the social story about getting the COVID-19 testing. That might be something of interest to adults as well as children.
We did have a response asking what everyone, kind of getting some feedback, what everyone might be doing at home to calm their family. If they could share, we would really appreciate that. Be interested in hearing that. We've had a question related to trying to keep a schedule for little ones. So there are some great resources out there. I know some have been put together for the Autism Society. Then along with that, on the Cincinnati Children's website, there are all kinds of community resources and schedule making items. So I would encourage you to check those types of things out. Someone has shared that they're taking daily walks and getting some exercise. They're also sleeping better. The benefits that we talked about earlier in the session about the benefits of exercise and just taking time for yourself. It never is a guilty pleasure, but it's something we seem to put on the back burner. So it's really important at this time when your body is feeling a lot of stress and challenge that you really nurture it and take care of it. There was a suggestion that you can make a visual schedule on your tablet or smartphone. You can also check out the app ChoiceWorks. It's $4.99 on the App Store. It's really cool. Had some good feedback on that. Someone asked, are there any organized sessions or activities for toddlers by age to aid in speech therapy and occupational therapy? Can there be daily schedules, schedules daily by hour?
I'm a provider at Cincinnati Children's. I'm a psychologist. My understanding, at least for current patients in the speech and occupational therapy divisions, they are attempting to provide support through telehealth. So if you have a current or past speech or occupational therapist, I would encourage you to reach out to that provider because they are trying to provide those resources as well.
I have noticed, as being a family member myself, that there just has been a lot of time and energy put into creating some great resources and collecting and vetting the resources. So I really encourage you to look at the links that are available and explore those. I know on the children's website, they even have an hourly hour hour by hour setup where you can look at different activities throughout the day and pick and choose. Many of these activities obviously are all over the country and a wide variety of interests. There is a link for the community resources. It's been posted on our chat area.
And I just want to make a note about that community resources page for the mother who had a preschooler or toddler that she was looking for activities hour by hour. There's a wonderful link in that document to a chart of educational opportunities that are out there on the web. And a lot of them would benefit her child for speech and OT, because there's craft time and other things out there. It isn't necessarily a speech in an OT class, but this woman has put together a wonderful chart of available free activities online. I love it. I will fix that link, Lori. I will fix it.
Lori, when you say I wasn't able to access that second link, do you mean the one that says corrected link? Okay. Someone has said you'll need to copy it and paste it into your browser. So I think about oftentimes these great resources, you can do them in a natural format and they can be fun. It doesn't, especially with the now having to do homeschooling and such, you can make some fun out of it, and then it doesn't seem like a drudgery chore, and it really can be engaging the parent and the child together now.
So is there an interest in going through the social story for how do I get tested for COVID-19? Shall we do that? Okay. All right, so this is a social story that was created for children, but I think it might be useful for adults as well, because most likely, most people don't know exactly how they test. So here we go. How do I get tested for COVID-19? Social story for visual learners. COVID-19, also known as the coronavirus, is a new sickness that people have in the United States, but in other countries too. So as you can see, it's everywhere, all over the world. Some symptoms include fever, coughing, and trouble breathing. If you feel sick, you should tell an adult. You may just have allergies, a cold, or the flu. Your parent or caregiver can call your doctor and ask. You might go see your doctor to take a COVID-19 test. To keep everyone safe, you might be asked to wear a mask. Your nurse or doctor might wear a mask too. The COVID-19 test is not a shot. Your doctor will use a large Q-tip to wipe the back of your throat or inside your nose. This might tickle or feel weird, but it will not hurt. Some kids might feel scared, and that's okay. Remember to take deep breaths, count to 10, or hold someone's hand. If you are still feeling sick when you get home, you should rest. Drink lots of water, try not to touch your face, and, of course, don't forget to wash your hands. And that is it for our social story.
So social stories are a great way to read these with your child and just get them acclimated to what's going to happen and trying to instill that idea of calmness and something they might be apprehensive and not sure about.
I just want everyone to know too, I added the link to Cincinnati Children's Coronavirus Family Resources, which has a lot of activities listed on there as well, which can help with calming, can help with education. But I do want to highlight that Cincinnati Resources, there are a lot of social stories and visual supports, I think, that they've added up there, and it keeps evolving and changing. So people should check on a regular basis to see what people have loaded up there. Because I think you got to find what fits your child, and a lot of them are written in different ways and in different detail, a lot of the social stories I've seen. So the great part is everybody's trying to collect it in one spot, and I want to encourage everybody. It's that Cincinnati Resources document, that Google document is constantly being edited daily by several organizations.
Thank you, Amy, for sharing that. And I think as time goes on, since this is extending, several more weeks, it will evolve in what your family needs. Their needs now might be a little different than what their needs might be in 2 weeks. So always know that you can reach out to the DDBP Family Support Inbox. That's a continuous thing that's monitored. We'll get back with you within a couple of days, and it's a great place to funnel out your questions and get answers to those.
I really like that you guys highlighted the structure of your day. I think that's the easiest place we could all start, is trying to make our days as routine as possible, Monday through Friday, if you want weekends to be different. I think that's been a big help in my house with my young man with autism. We definitely have our schedule set Monday through Friday, and weekends, as they traditionally are probably a little more loose, but we are scheduling our, downtime. We always have plans. So I think that's a really easy place to start, is just trying to set up routine.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you said that.
On the other side of that, however, is that if you set up your routine and you have a day or two where you don't manage to stick to it, don't beat yourself up. It's okay. It's really okay. It's fine to have a day where you just lie on the couch and stare into space, if that's what you need to do.
Yeah, so it ties into that idea of the flexibility. So be flexible with yourself, and then give yourself a pat on the back. It's a challenging time. You're trying to make the best of a difficult situation, and we're here to support you and your family. So we always want you to know that.
Have a dance party. I've already said this to others today, but I do think you need to incorporate a lot of fun, which is hard to do when you're limited maybe to where you can go, etc. But we do. We're trying. Anybody have anything they want to add to that out there in the virtual world about what you're doing at home to kind of take everybody's mind off things that's fun and different?
Well, one thing that we started doing this past weekend is we had gotten some seeds in those little pods for putting them in. So my son and I spent time preparing the pods, talking about what that meant, why we needed to do it in that way. And then we sowed the seeds to make all kinds of wonderful things, arugula and basil and 2 kinds of tomatoes and dill and rosemary, all sorts of yummy stuff. And then put it on a table in front of a window where it could get sun. And what do you know? Guess who checks the first thing every morning to see if anything's come up? My husband. But the kids are interested too, and I'm happy to say that yesterday the arugula did sprout. So now that's exciting. That's something to check every day. Ooh, it's growing, it's growing. What about the other ones? Oh, here come the cucumbers. So something like that, which is also, you can watch it, it takes time, it's processed, but it passes the time. You can see some change from day to day, or maybe a couple days to a couple days, and then you have an end result of some kind. Is really nice, because we'll then, as the weather warms up, we'll take these outside and plant them in the ground and have a really nice garden this summer.
I love that idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try that this weekend and get our little seed cups going. Thank you, Marion.
Elizabeth, can you unmute Lynn F. so she can talk about what she wrote in the chat box about what she does every day?
I think Marion is in.
Just unmuted Lynn.
I probably could have unmuted myself. I was just.
Too bad. You're unmuted. Deal with it.
Why, thank you. Yeah, we're one that does daily walks. We live in a neighborhood that's easy to just walk around the block, and so we get out for fresh air and exercise and to wave from a distance to our neighbors. Our neighborhood is one that's doing the teddy bear hunt that you see on social media, and our school district promoted that the school district had a virtual spirit week last week, this week that we're just finishing, where every day was something different, and Tuesday was teddy bear day, and Wednesday was what you reading day, and you were supposed to post a picture on social media of what book you're reading. So they're engaging people, but so I find too that when you're kind of like back when we had our normal life, everyone used to say, when you're in the car with your teenager or your kid who may not be forthcoming with sharing what's up with them, being in the car is a great time to have that conversation because you're not looking at each other, you're both looking out the windshield, and it makes it somehow easier for them to open up. But I find the same is true if you're going for a walk around the block, because you're looking at the birds and the neighbor's dog and everything else, and that's when my husband and I have conversations that we don't necessarily want the whole family to participate in, and my daughter can have a conversation with me, and she's opening up about how she's feeling or what her dream was last night and what does she think that means, and you know, what's her stress level and how did she sleep and what is she looking forward to today or tomorrow. And those are all good conversations to have as far as taking one another's temperature about stress and how we're handling the whole situation.
Thank you for sharing that, Lynn. I believe that concludes our chat time. We've had several thank yous relating to hosting this webinar.
One last chance for questions or comments. All right, everybody take care, stay healthy, and we'll hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend.